Hello everyone, Ben here, and what a race I've got for you today. We're in the F4 at Suzuka in the rookie servers on RaceRoom, but we're racing directly against Paul Schuster, who's in the top 50 of the ranked players in RaceRoom. He's starting on pole position. We're lining up in second place alongside him on the grid. If you enjoy the video, leave a like guys, it really helps the channel out. Get subscribed if you haven't already, but for now, let's get down to the grid. Here we go then, waiting for 5 red lights. We've got the inside line here coming down into T1, lined up alongside Schuster, who's on pole. We get away well, but so does he. So we're going to be side by side going into the first corner. I know that already. I'm just waiting to see him on the left hand side. There he is in the orange liveried car. We get through then. I take it relatively easy. We're on cold tyres. I don't want to cause an accident this early in the race. I've learned my lesson from my GT4 race here not too long ago. So we follow Schuster through this opening section of the lap, through the S's, and just try and settle in for what should be a fantastic race. Relatively close margins in qualifying between us. He had a few tenths on us into pole position, but I'm hoping I'm going to be able to stick with him in this race and that we can have a really good battle. Into the Degners for the first time then, get on the brakes as late as you can, run off area there, use as much of that as you can, and then through the second of the 2 corners. And so far, we're keeping him within half a second on this opening lap. On the brakes nice and early this first time around, just because the brakes are still cold. You don't want to lock up and lose a ton of time through the hairpin. Already, we've dropped the cars behind us by over a second, so it looks like it is going to be a 2-horse race out front. And the big challenge we've now got is, can we take the fight to one of the top 50 players in RaceRoom at the moment. Slightly wide on entry there, but then Schuster runs it right out onto the curb, so we might get a relatively even exit of Spoon onto the back straight as we head down into 130R for the first time. We're just about half a second behind still, so it's been a very tidy first lap, I would say, from both of us here. Coming through to the end of the lap, we set the quickest middle sector, gone purple there. Once again, just nice and easy on the brakes here. I'm not looking to do anything rash in these early stages. I just want to keep close to the leader and keep some pressure on, and we're going to be within 0.4 of a second as we cross the line then for the first time. Clearly there's been some accidents going on behind us, yellow flags out, but we're not interested in that. Our focus is purely on this battle for the lead. We're closing right in here at the end of the first lap, but we think better of sticking one down the inside, just not close enough for that. And actually we've ran a little bit wide on the exit of the T1 complex as we come into the S's for the second time. We haven't lost too much time through that though, and we're still within half a second of the lead car. So all to play for here in the cockpit, just hoping that we see a little bit more sliding like we have from Schuster up ahead there. That might just indicate that he's feeling the pressure a little bit. Clearly hugely fast driver, a 95 safety rating as well, so somebody that I feel like I can trust to race alongside as well, and that there's going to be plenty of respect and safe driving. So really now just hoping that we're going to be able to just squeeze that gap ever closer over the next couple of laps and see if we can't get alongside into one of the big braking zones. Here in the hairpin might be one opportunity, down into the chicane could be another, and then into T1 might be the third passing opportunity on this lap. For the rest of the lap, very, very difficult to make a move stick. The best bet really is just to try and stick close behind and not do anything too silly. We're still within half a second here as we come through Spoon again. More cars retiring behind us. There's only 11 cars now left in this race as 4 drivers have left the race early. Once again onto this back straight, still within half a second, so we're very evenly matched in this opening third of the race. Not anything really to separate the pace that we're doing so far. We get a nice run through the left hand kink, late on the brakes, a little bit later this time, just squeezing onto the rear wing of Schuster up ahead with a view to trying to line something up into T1. He gets a better exit from the chicane than us though, so it doesn't look likely, even with the tow, that we're going to be able to be close enough to get alongside into T1. this time around. Schuster sets the fastest lap of the race then, just under the 2:07 mark. We're just above the 2:07 mark as we come through T1 then for the third time. We're lapping a good 3 or 4 seconds quicker than anybody else on this grid so far. Follow the orange car then through the snaking S's, trying to keep a nice tight line, but actually this time we make a small mistake. We just run wide. I'm getting a little bit eager to just close back up again, and I need to keep it calm in the cockpit at this point. The gap has extended just slightly to 0.8 of a second. That's the biggest it's been, but we're still within a second of the lead car here. Into the Degners once again, take a little bit of curb, abuse the runoff as much as we dare. There's a big old gravel trap there which will ruin your race if you get tyres into it. We're quicker than Schuster through the Degners at the moment at least, so we've narrowed the gap by a couple of tenths. Nice line in through the hairpin then. We're quicker through there than we were the last lap as well, and we're going to just try and get back within that half a second range of Schuster, and hopefully even closer as we get towards the end of the lap. Either, as I say, looking for a move down into the chicane or into T1 or potentially into that hairpin. But just as I'm saying that, he's made a mistake into Spoon. The back end gets away from him. This is what we were waiting for, and we're able to sneak by. He has recovered well though, straight onto the track. Fortunate that he's lost the back end in a place with lots of tarmac runoff rather than a gravel trap, and in actual fact he's joined the track at speed, so he is well within our draft, just a couple of tenths of a second behind us. He might try and make a move straight back past us here. We're going to stick to the racing line, get on the brakes as late as we dare into the chicane, clip the inside curb, get a nice run through here in third gear so you're well set for the straight afterwards, and we're gonna hold on to the lead, at least for now, as we're approaching half race distance. We've managed to squeeze past. Let's have a look at that mistake then from his cockpit cam as he's coming into Spoon. Then the rear end just slides, it goes light. You see he's very, very fortunate, actually very good skills to hold on to that. It could easily have been a full spin, so fair play for holding on to that. But as I say, fortunate that he wasn't pitched into the grass or into a gravel trap, because it would have been a much more significant incident. As it was, he's able to rejoin relatively comfortably, but not ahead of us. We have sneaked past. We rejoin then on the very next lap as we exit the Degners and come into the hairpin once again. We're still holding the lead here, about a half a second gap back, so roles reversed. This time it's Schuster who's trying to squeeze onto the back of our car. It's us that's trying to break away from this half a second gap that has separated the two lead cars for the entire race to this point. We're coming then into the corner in which Schuster made the mistake on the last lap. We keep it nice and tight and tidy. So does he, by the way, in our rear view mirror. No repeat mistake this time around as we come then onto the back straight. More cars have retired from this race. The attrition rate is high. There's only 9 cars left, but the only battle that we're interested in is this one right here. Schuster is closing right up on the back of us here. He's got a very good exit from Spoon as we come through the left hand kink here. Keep it flat through there, but look at the way he's managed to close in on us. We're going to have to go defensive, get down this time into second gear because we've taken the narrow line, try and open the second part of the chicane up. But even having done that, he's going to get a much better exit than we are because we had a compromised line through. He's within 0.2 of a second. This is going to be a move into T1. I'm going to commit to my usual defensive line, which is the racing line in Suzuka. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I think it's actually easier to defend round the outside here, make the guy go down the inside so you've got the wide entry into part 2 of the corner. Here we go then, we're side by side, little bit of contact on the exit, but my plan has worked for now. We've managed to hold the lead, as despite getting all the way alongside us through the corner, Schuster just was not able to make the move stick, and we had the better exit into the S's. Wow, that was pretty intense. I'm not going to lie, in the cockpit it was a battle of nerves to not give him too much of a squeeze on the inside. I had to leave racing room, but at the same time, you know, not give the position away easy. You know, I want to hold on to this lead. It's very rare that you get the chance to win a race, I find, in RaceRoom, even in the rookie servers. So now we've got this opportunity. I don't want to let it go too easily. Brilliant racing though, really respectful between the two drivers. We both had our lines through the corner. Neither of us did anything too silly. We're through to the second half of yet another lap here. Just 5 minutes left on the race clock. Into spoon once more then. Try and make sure that we get a neat and tidy line through here. No letting the back end step out. Get on the gas as soon as we can. It seems to take an age through the second part of the corner. Once again, it looks like Schuster's got a better exit, and he's so within our draft now that he's going to be gaining pace on us in any case. The gap is within 0.2 of a second once more. He'd be crazy to try a move down the left-hand side here. Thankfully, we know he's not. He's just going to tuck in behind us. Once again, we're going to have to stick to the middle of the track. I've tried to open up the entry to this corner a little bit more this time, so I can hold it in third gear, hopefully make it a little bit harder for him on the exit of the corner to get alongside us. And it looks like it's worked, but probably not enough. It hasn't been effective enough to mean that we're not going to have to defend again into T1. Have to make a decision here. I decide to do exactly the same thing that I did on the last lap. Defend around the outside. He's got his nose down the inside. He's not yet fully alongside us as we come into the second part of the corner. We're going to run it out wide, but look at that. He's got a great exit from the corner, and in fact he's clean past us as we go into the S's. This time around he made it work, and Schuster has retaken the lead. Fair play, a really, really good overtake. Perhaps I made a mistake in adopting exactly the same approach as the last lap. It allowed him to use the first attempt as a bit of a sighter, and then he perfected the move the second time around. Let's take a look then at that fantastic action. This is just leading into the first attempt to retake the lead from Schuster. He's running so close behind us on this back straight. We're going to come down into the chicane. You'll see I have to take a defensive line here, but look at how close he gets to us around the outside. He takes a line which is really an attempt at a cutback, a switchback, but there's no room to do that through the corner. Instead, he's going to have to tuck in right underneath our rear wing as we come across the start-finish line. You can see just how close he is to us. We know a move is going to be inevitable, so we stick to our guns on the racing line, make him do the work through what is a very tricky corner if you get pinched to the inside and you can't use the full width of the track, which he can't in this situation. That gives us a good exit on the outside. He drifts the car out wide. There's a tiny bit of contact which slows him down on exit. That's the crucial factor, it seems then. That's why we were able to hold the position, because he couldn't run the car out to the outside of the track on the line he was on. Here's an aerial view of it to show just how close we got through the corner. Brilliant racing as we both give each other plenty of room, but then just on the exit of the corner he runs it out just too wide, little bit of contact, and that allows us to keep the position. I didn't know that at the time in the cockpit, that was the decisive factor. Here's a final look at this move the first time around from his cockpit view. You can see he's trying to hug the inside there. You can see our tyre though, and he just drifts out into it, which is going to cost him momentum on the exit of the corner, which means he's going to have to try again on the very next lap. And here is the very next lap, almost identical as we come across the start-finish line. Once again, he's going to come to the inside. We're going to try and hold it around the outside again. Plenty of space on the inside for him, but not too much. And then we come around into the second part of the corner. This time, though, he's managed to get a much tighter line on the exit of the corner. He's learned his lesson. He's banked that experience from the first time through the corner, and that means he was able to get the move done. We rejoin then with just 2 laps to go. We've managed to keep within half a second of him, so this race is as intense as it has been from the very beginning. We get a good run through the Degners, so we're actually closing in on him into the hairpin here, but we're not close enough to make a move. We're going to close right up to his rear wing and get a decent exit as well. So there's just 0.3 of a second behind us now, as we've got really just 1.5 laps left in this race. In fact, as the pace is currently standing, it might just be half a lap left, depending on if we're able to get over the start-finish line in time. We're so close to him running into Spoon, but actually we get a little bit of a compromised entry to the corner. That's going to give him a better exit than we manage through the corner, and that could be crucial as we bomb down the back straight towards one of the very few overtaking opportunities on this lap. What a race this has been. Only 8 cars left on track, but the battle for the lead has been so good, so intense, such enjoyable racing with Paul Schuster in the lead car here at the moment. We close up again onto his rear wing. We're practically pushing him through the chicane here, but he's going to get a decent exit from the corner as we come across then the start finish line, and we will get another lap in. Just the counter is coming down 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 5 seconds, but it looks like we are going to get over just in time. We are, with just 2 seconds to spare. So I have one last chance through this final lap to try and get up into the lead. We've set the fastest lap on the last lap, so we're now into the 2:06.8, which is the quickest I think I've ever been around this circuit in this car, as we come into the S's for the final time, following closely behind Schuster's car here as we try and get a tight line to just maintain that gap through this part of the track. We can't get past him here as his car slides just a little, but he keeps control of it. All I'm hoping to do is be in contention for the hairpin and the chicane, but just as I say that, I run wide, and that has cost us 0.4 of a second as we come into the Degners, and that could be crucial with so little of this race left. It's the first real mistake we've made all race long in what has been a flat out battle for the race win, and it looks like it could be decisive as we come into the hairpin then, again trying to brake as late as we can, get a nice run through here, claw back some of those tenths that we lost in that mistake, but unfortunately we haven't been able to do it. In fact, the gap is nearly up to a second, and if it's a second down the back straight, then we won't have any draft to try and close in on Schuster, so we're fully relying on him making another mistake. It's one mistake each so far, which means he's in the lead of this race, having started in pole position. We're going to have to come and get a better exit, but we haven't. We've drifted wide. So in actual fact, we're not going to be gaining momentum down the back straight here. We're likely to be losing it, if anything. It comes down then to, can he get a clean run through the chicane? Are we able then to take advantage of it? If he doesn't, the gap is quite big, to be honest, so even if he does make a mistake, we might not be able to squeeze past. We're down into third gear, clip the inside curb for the final time, but unfortunately for us, there has been no mistake. Schuster is going to take this win. And to be honest, it's a deserved one. He's had the pace on us. He's been that just a little bit quicker all race long. You saw that in how quickly he closed up to us when we did take the lead of the race in the middle of this session. But what a fantastic race it was. So enjoyable. We exchanged compliments in the race chat there. It was just such a good battle for the lead and for ultimately the race win. But I think we saw a worthy winner there in Paul Schuster. Just didn't quite have the pace to hold on to that one, and a small mistake there meant that we didn't have a chance to mount a last-ditch attempt to take the lead back. But here's the final classifications then. A relatively small grid, really only 2 drivers in it for the race win, but still an absolutely epic contest, thoroughly enjoyable. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I did racing it. If you did, leave a like, get subscribed to the channel. We've got lots more RaceRoom, iRacing, Assetto Corsa Competizione content to come, and I will see you on the next one.